topic we've got there is hyper-personalization of medicine. And I think it's a little bit what you were just talking about is how do we know the individual? And I thought about this topic a little bit and had a friend recently who had a diagnosis and kind of 50% survival rate. And I thought about it and I thought, wow, in today's day and age, we can't identify the cancer effectively to understand actually what is the survival rate. And then you dig into it just a little further and you'd say, well, you know, why is that? And a lot of it is there's a wealth of information, clinical notes, genomic data, et cetera. But a lot of it is siloed within a cancer institute or a healthcare system. There's no real ability to aggregate it across the totality of every person that's had cancer and use privacy-preserving tools to examine that. So often I think about, you know, this seeing that hyper-personalization come together. I think we have the algorithms. What we actually don't have is the data upon which to apply them to create the degree of resolution that really is transformative in cancer. I don't know if you guys have a similar view, but I'd love to unpack it a little bit.
Well, I look at it also as the idea of, you know, to me the personalization is also the obstacles of that individual. So whether it's social determinants of healthcare, access, engagement, because the medical, the therapeutic, the surgical regimen may be ideal, but there's variabilities in the outcome based on the experience or the ability to get those services. So, you know, what I get excited about is thinking about, well, where do we identify the areas of friction? Where do we identify the places that we can improve upon so we can get to that ultimate goal of those outcomes? And I think that's where we can help, you know, again, raise the tide for all.
You know, it always seemed so imperfect to me the way we structure treatments for people. For example, you know, we have, for lots of people, we'll try the same dosage of a medicine based on maybe their weight. Well, maybe we'll change it a little bit based on their weight or their age. But it's sort of like just looking and we're kind of, okay, you know, we're guessing at it. And oftentimes, you know, providers, you know, we'll try something. Let's see how it works. If it doesn't work, we'll try one treatment or one medication. So you give it a few weeks, see how it works, then we might change to something. You know, it's very much trial and error. Right. With AI, I don't think we need to be doing that. It's much more, and we'll have so much more ability to tailor treatments to people. And that's really what I think is very exciting and what's going to help people enormously.
Yeah, that's a great point. I used to take care of a lot of patients with disabilities, developmental disabilities, and quite often the bell-shaped curve of normal labs or normal doses did not apply to that patient population. They have basal temperatures of 94. So they get to 98 and they're like, oh, there's no fever. Well, they just went up, you know, 4 degrees. That's dramatic. Or a dose being over, you know, intoxicated from a dose. Or so that's an excellent point that I think we have to really focus in on.
Yeah, and like what you said is about genomics. You mentioned genomics at the very beginning. You know, people talk about how AI in precision medicine looks at all the omics, genomics, proteomics, microbiomics. You're not just your genes, but also your environment and the bacteria that are both inside us and around us, and our proteins, and can really, really take a laser beam, you know, focus on what's the best treatment for this person at this time in their exact situation. What's going to help them the most?
Right. What's kind of, I liked how that conversation just went, because it went from AI being involved in defining the diagnosis with accuracy. And then it went to how does it become involved in creating the treatment that's appropriate for the individual person. And then how is it involved in ensuring that that individual can actually manage the treatment. So you go diagnosis, tailored treatment, tailored care.